Welcome back, guys. So this video is my Q&A video. I did get quite a few questions in, and I have them all written down for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started because there is a few questions that might take a minute to answer. So for the first question, is your husband away from home a lot or is he at home daily? Raymond works with the military and currently he's on days. So he leaves the house around 6 a.m. and then he gets home sometimes at 3, sometimes at 4. It just really depends. So he really is home quite a bit. He's usually home just before dinner time. Question number 2. How long have you been married? We got married on January 1st of 2007. So we are going on 8 years? Yeah. Question 3. So do you find moving around for your husband's career stressful or is it exciting? Stressful and exciting. The first time Ray got stationed somewhere, he got stationed in Florida. Now, we met and we both pretty much have lived on the west coast of Florida for most of our lives, I guess. Ray was born actually in the city that we met in. I was born in Michigan and I lived in the same city as him since I was 12. So we met in high school and our first station together, he got stationed on the East Coast actually, just south of Orlando. We were stationed in Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, that place for our first base. And then we found out 4 years later that we got restationed to Hawaii. And that was pretty cool, but we were back and forth a bit back then, so I've only lived in Hawaii for 2 out of the 4 years that we were stationed there. And then we got stationed here in Virginia. So it is exciting, but for the first time being away from my family, I went through a lot of stress and I just wasn't ready for it. So this here is the first time that I fully moved away from my family, like entirely, and was excited about it. So we are probably going to be here for 4 or 6 years, and then we're going to sell the house that we live in and move again. What sort of things do you make for your Etsy shop? I started out making bow tie holders for little girls. So if you want a specific theme, I can do Frozen, I can do Dot McStuffins, I can do Sophia the First, Mickey Mouse, Minnie. You just pick your theme and let me know. If I don't have it listed on Etsy, you can always send me a message and I'd be more than happy to get everything I need to make a bow holder for your little girl. Or even for yourself, you can probably put jewelry on it too. I haven't tried. And then I also make jewelry boxes. I currently use the one that I made, the first one I ever made for my daughter's hair ties. So they have hair ties and hairpins, and it comes with a picture on the top. And so I do put pictures in it, but I custom paint it, put stickers and designs on it based solely on what you want. And there's a couple more things I'm going to be putting up too. I actually don't have the jewelry box on it now, but I do also have a beach-themed picture frame that I make using real sand and real shells that I collect from the beach. How do you keep up with housework and take care of the kids? This question was actually one of my favorites on this list. Scheduling. Lots of scheduling. With having 3 children, I find that balancing housework and taking care of the kids can be a little bit of a hectic job. With Mason being in school, that makes it a little bit easier for me. And then I have Aiden here at home with me and Lily here at home with me, which they both play together and can entertain each other. So I set aside an hour a day, of which I let Aiden play video games and I let Lily watch Netflix on the iPad. And during that hour, I do the room of the week. Now, every day of the week, I have a different room in which I deep clean. Like I do the kitchen, and I have to do the dishes, the counters, sweep the floors, mop the floors, clean out the fridge, reorganize the pans and the lids, and I just do everything. And then the next day, I do the living room, and the next day, I do the playroom, and then the office, and Fridays, the laundry room, and on Saturday's the laundry room. Friday is the day I do all the bedrooms and all the bathrooms. This includes changing the sheets, this includes vacuuming, this includes cleaning the windows. So I do all my really deep cleaning stuff on one day of the week, every single day. I actually got the entire kitchen done last week in 20 minutes flat. It's not easy always keeping up with the housework. I kind of let myself know, it's okay if you can't do something today. I add it on to tomorrow and I work a little bit at a time. Like I'm always keeping an eye on the kids. The playroom is a big help because there's a couch in here, and then there's a TV, and then there's a nice fan so it stays really cool in here. And then they have a little table and dresser, and all their toy boxes are down here in the playroom. So yes, scheduling, very important. My kids are on a very strict schedule, and my cleaning schedule is the same way. It's on a very strict schedule. And Saturday is actually the day that I expect to run errands, so I have the easiest room to do on Saturday. Next question, do you have a routine? Yes, I just kind of explained that a little bit in the last question. And my routine, I have a different routine for the days of school than I do for the weekends. Now for the days of school, I get up at 6, make coffee, start breakfast, get Mason up at 6:20, get him breakfast, get him dressed. At 6:40 we leave for the bus. At 6:55 I come back here and I start kind of unwinding. At 8 a.m. I wake up the kids. At 9 I make them their breakfast. From 9 to 11 I clean. At noon I make lunch. At 1 o'clock it's nap time till 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock I wake them up. 5 o'clock I make dinner. 7 o'clock is bath. 8 o'clock is movie night. And then 9 o'clock is bedtime. So yes, I have a very strict routine. How do you handle any errands you need to run? Well, that too depends on the day of the week. If I have to run errands during the week, I get up at 5 a.m. I take Ray to work at 6, come back here, get Mason up, get him on the bus, and Aiden and Lily come with me. On the weekends, well, on the days Ray doesn't work, he doesn't work Sundays or Mondays, he watches the kids and I go run the errands. So it really depends. If Ray's home, he kind of helps me out by taking 2 of the kids. I'll take Lily or Aiden or Mason and Aiden, and Lily will stay here, so it all depends. How long does it take to leave the house? Aiden can dress himself, so that part's pretty easy. Lily, she loves going bye-bye, so she's just at the door ready to go the whole time. So I tell her, Lily, you need to get pants on. She goes, no, I go bye-bye. And I say, you need pants and a shirt and shoes, and I want to do your hair. So then, when I say I want to do her hair, she gets excited, runs over, jumps on the couch, and sits there so I can do her hair. And she's actually really good about letting me do her hair. If I tell her move this way, she'll move her head that way, and she'll stay there and let me do her hair. So it could take anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 minutes to leave the house with Lily and Aiden. Aiden and Mason pretty much can dress themselves. The only thing Aiden really needs help with is, I would say his pants, to be honest. But even that is a hit or miss. He's pretty good with his pants too now. Does Aiden have a learning disorder? We actually had Aiden tested when we were still in Hawaii for autism, to which they said that he doesn't exactly meet the criteria for being autistic. He does, however, have a physical limitation. They said that he could benefit from some physical therapy because he does kind of run a little awkward, and so they said that he can't wear sandals. So Aiden does not wear sandals, and he also sits on his knees and his ankles a lot, which has also caused a little bit of a physical kind of issue with his running. So we've been trying to get him to sit better too. But he was evaluated by the school to see if he qualified for preschool, because in Hawaii you only qualified if there was some concern about his learning ability. But they said that he tested normal. So Aiden should be just fine going to school. So currently, no, Aiden does not have a learning disorder. Which pregnancy was the hardest? With any kind of... Now that question can go a few different ways. None of my pregnancies were exactly the hardest. I think emotionally, Aiden and Lily were both my hardest pregnancies. Physically, Mason's was good. He was late, and so it caused some issues after birth, but not a lot, nothing that was major. Caleb was induced the day after his due date, so he was okay. Aiden was born a week earlier because his due date was conflicting something else. And then Lily, I think hers was the hardest as far as physically. With her, I had more issues than I had with the boys. She was born fine, she was normal, everything was pretty much normal. I had a lot of sciatica problems and a couple other problems I don't really want to mention here. But overall, hers was emotionally draining for me, and so was Aiden's, because after Caleb passed away, I was so worried that something was going to happen to them too. So Theirs emotionally was hard for me, especially Lily's because Ray and I didn't quite know what our relationship was like yet, so that one was emotionally difficult for me, knowing the situation I was going to be in after she was born. Where did you move to, and where were you before? We have moved to Virginia. We got restationed from Hawaii. Do you have any tips on how to move, pack, and travel with young children? Their backpacks are going to be their entertainment. So if you want to leave at night, definitely have a blanket, which usually most airlines that I've been on that you fly at night, they provide a pillow and a blanket. So that just kind of depends on the airline. You can call and confirm to find out if your flight will have a blanket and a pillow or not. If you fly during the day, I suggest packing their backpack with stuff that will keep them entertained, such as, a game or an iPad or just something small that can entertain them. Even a new video game they've never had before, or a new coloring book, or a new book to read, something they haven't already had. It'll deeply be very entertaining for them. Ways to handle children when you're packing: have one person kind of keep them occupied, like at a park or outside, or find something to do inside. Make a game of packing. If it's something that won't break, have them throw it in there like basketball or something, and tell them, yay, 5 points, 10 points, Make a game out of packing, make it fun. There are so many ways to make packing exciting for young children. I highly suggest that when you're actually traveling on a road trip or on an airplane or on a boat or however it is you're traveling, something new. Depending on how they travel, they'll be excited enough by certain parts of your travel experience, but not for the whole time, so definitely something new would be great. Tips, definitely, I suggest flying at night with older children. Keep them up during the day, no naps. Fly at night, they'll be tired, they'll go to sleep, and it's easier on you. Otherwise, fly during the day, something new book, new toy, new musical item, something they like that's not going to disturb others around them. Flying and traveling alone with young children is stressful to think about in itself. I definitely had my kids a bit involved with packing and moving, and we definitely got some new stuff for them to be entertained as we flew, because we flew for like 15 hours. Flying out of Hawaii to get to California in itself was a 6, almost 7-hour trip, so I definitely suggest that. It really depends on how long your flight will be, as to what you want to get or do for them. This is the button down there, lets me know you care, and I will talk to you next time. Bye! So, do you find moving around for your husband's career successful? Alright guys, now I would like to leave you something to ponder. However, I suddenly am drawing a blank.